For this demonstration, we'll be going through most of the filters we have available in Photoshop. Okay. Now the filter, there's a list of more than 25 to 30 filters which we can use in Photoshop, and I'm just going to show you how most of these filters works. I'm simply going to duplicate the layer so that we can see the before and after settings for that particular filter. Now here you can see there's a Britney's picture, and I can apply a couple of settings through the menu bar, which is a filter menu. Now in previous versions, there were a couple of fewer filters in the list, but that's what every new versions of Photoshop, they keep enhancing it. So if you have CS, CS2, CS3, CS4 has a couple of new filters added. Up to CS6 now they have added few more filters, which can do a lot of 3D effects as well to your photographs. Some of the filters, like if you don't want to go through individual filters, you can simply go to the filter gallery menu, which is here, and it will open your picture on the left hand side. And on the right hand side, you can see there is a range of filters which are embedded into each panel. Like some filters are artistic, brush strokes, distorting, sketching. Okay, they are tucked into the similar set functionalities. So if I just go to the artistic panel, you can open the panel and it shows a list of filters available under the artistic. All you have to do is simply click on the filter, dry brush, palette knife, film grain. You can posterize your images, and for every single filter you use, that's a watercolor effect. And for whatever filter you apply, each filter will give you some additional settings on the right hand side. So you can actually control how your filter should look by controlling its shadows, textures, and so on. If you don't like, close the artistic filters and you can apply some brush strokes. So same image, there you go, some angled brush strokes. That's nice. And then you can control the directions of the strokes, strokes length, sharpness, and you can give them a look of a kind of painting. Under distort, you can have a diffuse glow, glass, ocean ripples, and those kind of effects you see normally in magazines and all. But to use them, you don't need to apply any particular selection tool or something. You just have your picture on the layer and you select any effect or a filter you like from the gallery. So this is what you're going to play later on. Just play around. Filters like sketch. There you go. Nice filter. Play around with the settings. And it gives you different settings. A lot of Photoshop users, those who know Photoshop well, their Facebook pages and Twitter pages, and they have quite a bit nice pictures. So they play with their own personal pictures by applying some of the filters you see here in the list. There's a stylized filter which gives you kind of neon effect, kind of glowing edges. So whenever you want a poster with this kind of styling, you can use glowing edges. And again, you can control the width of the glowing edges, the brightness of the glowing edges, like that, and the smoothness. It's quite beautiful when you want to play around with your images. Under textures, you have grain effect, you got stained glasses, you can control the sail sizes, you can control the border thickness, and intensities and so on. So this is what I said, you need to play around and see what filter you like and what kind of different variations you can get for that particular filter. Let me just get some simple glowing edges, and if I'll say OK, you can see my new layer is actually reflecting the particular effect we have applied. Okay, I'm going back to my original background layer so I can duplicate it. Now here is another interesting thing which Photoshop CS4 gives you. Right now, if you can see the layer 1, I've applied the glowing edges filter. But is there any way you can undo that filter again and go back to the main image? But that is undoing, means you're gonna stay backward and it's gonna eliminate all the other things which you have done as well. Okay, but there's something which is introduced from CS4. It's called smart object concept. Okay, smart object means it literally converts your layer so that it can work a bit smartly. That's what the name is. It keeps your layer independent, or in Adobe's language, converting your layer into smart object means you play around with your filters and you keep your layer non-destructive. So smart object means you actually do Photoshop effects in a non-destructive way. So what happened is non-destructive means, I'll show you the example. That's the background copy layer. Okay, I'm going to right click on the layer and it gives me an option called convert to smart object. So when we convert this layer into a smart object, the immediate visible sign you can see here is actually there's a little symbol gets attached in the thumbnail of the layer. Okay, in Photoshop ACA exams they will ask you one or two questions around smart objects and so on, so you need to know. The main thing is non-destructive technique means smart object. So now I've converted this layer into non-destructive mode by using or converting it into a smart object. Now let me go to the filters and let's select some other filters to apply. So if I'll go to a filters gallery and if I have maybe hide the glowing edges, so we can work on only on the smart object layer, and from the filters there's quite a bit nice effects you have here. You can sharpen your images as well, so you can sharpen the edges, or you can have quite a bit of sharpening here. So when I apply a sharpening, it obviously makes image more saturated and quite sharp. Mainly when we do high definition rendering, we apply sharpening filters. But I've applied two sharp filters. What can you observe in the layers panel now? It has actually applied those two filters, which is sharpen edges and just sharpen under the smart filter sublayer. This is what non-destructive means. Means these new filters are not actually disturbing or destructing the actual layer content. Okay? Now means if I want to go back to my original image, in neon edges I cannot do that because it has applied all of that to the actual layer itself. But with the smart object concept, I can actually go to the layers. I can hide the smart filters layer and I can get back my original layer as it is. So you don't need to undo, which can affect all the other steps in your Photoshop. It will only affect that particular smart layers. So you can hide and open your smartening things. So this is also quite interesting thing you should know in terms of smart objects and smart filters. Filters we have gone through. I'm going to show you one more filter. Later on, I'll expect you to play around with the filters and filters gallery. There's an interesting filter called Liquify in Photoshop. Now this Liquify filter, what it actually does is there are a couple of tools on the left hand side here in this filter. You can observe some of the tools here we can use. Now it has its own subset. What Liquify does, it actually destructs your actual pixels of the image. Okay. Now there are some interesting ones, like you can see the twirl, pucker, bloat. Quite interesting tools are there inside this. So let me just actually use them, and you will see how they affect. With the Liquify filter on, you can actually use twirl. You can control the settings of your brush and so on in the twirl, and you can actually twirl the face. A lot of magazines and newspapers, they use this kind of effect to guess the person kind of contest they do, or on the website also they do. So they actually transform the pixels by using Liquify filter. Okay. The other thing they do is, I'm just going to undo it. pucker, which is S. The pucker tool, you can again also control pucker sizes and so on. The icon of the pucker tool will show you. It is used to squeeze your pixels inward. Means in reality, if I want to tone Britney's body, I want to give her slim tones, I want to reduce some flesh from her chin, from chubby cheeks, you can actually use pucker to squeeze the pixels in the image. In reality, we are using it in our pictures quite smartly. For example, I use pucker tool and I can go on her hand to make her look a bit more slim. Do you see in reality what is happening here? She's actually losing. I'm controlling the pixels in her waist. I can give her more six packs. There you go. You can make her look as slim as you want, not anorexic, but that's it. Okay. Under the pucker, there is a bloat tool. Now, bloat will help you to expand the pixel base. There you go. So I can bloat her and make her look fat, like that. So whenever you want to do a bit of plastic surgeries within Photoshop, pucker and bloats and smudge kind of tools helps you a lot. This is also a filter. So if I'll just say OK, I've got those settings applied to another background copy 2 layer, and you can see Britney looks a bit more toned and slim. If you want to see the comparison, I can just hide the background copy layer. That's the original, and that's after. She looks more like Shakira now. So you can apply this on your pictures. I use quite a lot on my pictures. So most of my pictures, if you see my punch is reduced and I look a bit more fit, that's Photoshop. Yeah, I just quickly apply Liquify on my images and off you go. Okay, so there you go. That's filters for you. I've got another filter to show you, which is vanishing point, but we will record it in a separate session. So far, just play with the filter gallery, Liquify filters, and let's see if we can work with the smart object concept of filters as well. Okay, try and convert each layer into smart object, then apply your new filters in a non-destructive way. That's about filters for you.